Alright, so we are now going to the create tool to see what we can do with this. And basically, it's not the same as the primitive tool, because yes, you can create polygons here, but it's mostly about creating new things with what you already have. So what we're gonna do is to create a primitive. Let's create some primitive here, like a box, sphere. Alright, so here you can have some things. First is a transform. This is very self-explanatory. I've been digging around this for a while, and to be honest, what it only does is to change the transform in the right here, exactly the same as you would do. So, uh, yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. You can also use these ones, so don't worry about it. The next one is the select mode. And here comes the interesting part. There are several ways to select an object. For example, you can use the brush. You can paint on it, right? And if you hold shift, you can delete the painting you have, just as like you paint vertex painting. And you have several ways here, like the volumetric brush to select more faces that are inside a radius, the angle based on the angle. Most of the important ones I have is all connected. For example, this one. And you can also check by material. This is also very nice. By UV island, which you cannot see it now because it's all one UV island. But if I select this one UV island, I can select different ones. Now notice I don't need to hold shift to click. It will add automatically all the faces I click. Only if I hold shift, I will delete the faces I clicked before. So let's keep going here. So you can check how you can select different faces. But here's the important part. If you see here, you have a lot of things we can do, right? But the most important one is, for example, you want to check this one, you're painting here, let's create this select by brush. You're like this, and then you want to optimize the selection, and it will do something like much more nicer, more smooth transition in your selection. So you can shrink or you can expand to all connected. You can shrink, for example, like this, or you can grow. You can invert the selection, you can clear it, or you can select all. This is mostly the most common operations, and you can also select by area, by size, and by triangle count. So there are a few things you can do with these selections. One, of course, you can use all of this. Let's go through some of them. You can delete some triangles, and you can have something like this. You can separate the triangles, which will separate this into a different mesh. Alright. You can disconnect the triangles, which apparently nothing happened, but if I select by all connected, you can see that my mesh here is not connected anymore. Alright. You can also flip the normals. For example, here, you can flip them. And another thing you can do is create a polygroup. And you see that nothing has happened. And the reason is because we are going to use the polygroup to edit the polygons later. And this will come much easier in the future when you want to modify things. Say you want to move this one. It's much easier if you already create a polygroup for it. So just keep that in mind. Just as a quick demonstration here. Let's just create a polygroup here. We're not going to cover this topic now, but let's let's click the form, transform, and then transform here. Sorry, deform. Let me look for it. Oh, there you go, polygroups. So you got the poly deform, and here you can see that I can move all this polygroup, and the reason is I have grouped these two. If I select this one, you can see all these ones belong to a different polygroup, but if I click this one, this will move into a different direction because these two are merged polygon. If I select all of this and create a polygroup, then I go to the form, polygroups, poly deform. You can see all three are my polygroup. You can see I'm moving all of three, and of course that move all the mesh here because all of these three faces are connected to the rest of the vertices. Alright, let's keep going because we have a lot to show. Let's go back to create. So, what else you can do? You can create a new primitive based on a polygon. For example, you can click your points here. You can see I'm snapping in this grid. I can have something like this, and then when I drag the mouse, I can create a new polygon. Of course, you have the different options. You can create like a circle here, just like that. You can create a circle with a hole. You can click here and then go like this. And of course, like all the features, you can just change all the properties. Most of them we already know. This is shared across multiple properties, and you have a lot of different things. So let's keep going. Next, you have the Polypath, and this is a little bit different. This is like if you want to create walls for your game. For example, here you can create something like this, and then something will happen. You can actually add thickness to it, and you can see in the left my height mode is interactive and my width mode is interactive. So I just drag in with the mouse, click when I'm finished, and then click again to drag and extrude this one out. So if I click this one, you will see that I have a wall with thickness, which can be very good to prototype some levels. You can actually draw the top-down view of your level and see it here. Now let's go to some interesting things. Polyrebolt. So this one, what this will do is basically it will create a cylinder around the profile. For example, I want to create this ones. And then I want to close it. It doesn't need to be perfect. So, and looks what it does. It creates a cylinder around this profile that you can see here. Actually, you can change how much decrease you want here. You can do something like this. You can reduce the number of steps too. All right, very cool stuff. So you can accept when you finish. This is very cool feature. And now the cut revolve. So for this one we need two meshes. So I'm going to create two primitive here. I'm going to create a sphere. I'm going to create a box. And what I'm gonna do now is merge them. I'm gonna use a new tool. We'll cover that later, but for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to transform, combine, and this will combine the polygons into one object. And you can see here I have my geometry inside, right? And if you want to optimize your game, you may want to delete the unhidden faces. So this is where the self-union comes handy, the cut revolve, sorry. So if you cut revolve, sorry, you you need to create two separate objects. So let's do it again. Box, sphere. All right. So click the two of them. All right. So okay, so this is very strange. I'm gonna be in another video. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. I promise you I will do another one of this one. So The other one is mesh Boolean. So this one is pretty self-explanatory. If you're familiar with Booleans, it's just basic operations where you can intersect two objects. For example, these two, I connect these two, and if I mesh Boolean, you can see I can have the intersection, and I can change my operation like B minus A minus B. I can intersect all the intersection, the union of it, like I can create something like this. I can trim. And the cool thing about it is that you can change on real time all the properties of your mesh here, which is very, very cool. So if you want something like this, click OK, and you will get your new asset here with new topology. All right. Then comes the box wrap, which is basically a voxel mesh. A voxel mesh is basically a representation like pixel in 3D to create new geometry. So this is what it does, and basically what it does is will close any hole or anything. All right, so let's keep going here. If we go here, we can start the box blend, which will blend between the two, and you can see they are merged together. All right. You can also have the morphology tools. So basically here you can change the voxel type, like remove internal faces here, and you can basically modify how the voxel will appear in your mesh. For example, if you want to create an envelope or something like this is the tool you will want. And of course you have the voxel boolean here. Let's see if this one works. And there you go, you got the boolean here to create more operations, and the end result is a voxel. So we've been through a lot here. We've gone through the select modes, the polygroups, the polypath, polyrevolve, the voxel meshes. So in the next video we're gonna go through different settings, and if you like this video, just please like, subscribe, share it with someone you think it will be useful for that person, and let us know in the comments what you think and what kind of video you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one.